The least charismatic cult leader on earth, Electric Jesus, is steadfastly trying quite hard to resurrect the Church of Electric Scientology's reputation after recent events. But I fear only the truly faithful are believing his recent Cybertruck BS. At the so-called delivery event a couple of days ago now, he said, quote, "I think this is our best product. I think it's the most unique thing on the road. And finally, the future will look like the future." End quote. Kindly allow me to retort, Your Holiness. The Cybertruck is a heap of crap on fundamentals, respectfully. It's designed mainly for vacuous, rich twats, and it is the most unique thing on the road, admittedly, only not in a good way, dude. And like most of the things he commits to, and let's not forget, this is the guy who committed to putting a base on Mars in 10 years, and that was back in 2011. This vehicle falls well short of what was actually promised. As for looking like the future, agreed, dude. But only if the future is inspired by the graphics in a discount video game from the 1990s. So, with all that in mind, here are the top 12 ways the Cybertruck is an abject failure. Pro tip, number 12 might actually be a success. I'm John Cadogan from AutoExpert.com.au. New cars cheap, but Australia only, so not Cybertrucks, because I don't think that vehicle is ever going to appear on our roads, except perhaps in some rich, vacuous twat's private collection website. Card. Now, we'll count them up or down. Haven't decided yet. In just a sec. This report is sponsored by NordVPN. Get 4 extra months of Nord free now at nordvpn.com/AEJC. Say you're in a cafe one day and you think you've just connected to the free Wi-Fi. But in fact, a hacker has just inserted himself between you and the internet, and he's about to start ripping you off properly. How would you even know? This is called a man-in-the-middle attack. It's one of the most common ways to get hacked. But there's no law that says you have to be the next victim. You need countermeasures, and that's what NordVPN does. NordVPN does the stuff that you and I don't understand in the background. Encrypting your data, hiding your IP address, locking everything down, basically. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC now. The 2-year plan discount is huge right now. Plus, you're going to get 4 extra months free. nordvpn.com/AEJC. Link in the description. Just subscribe, download the app, and connect. 1 click later, your IP address is shielded, your online traffic is masked with NSA-level encryption across as many as 6 of your devices. NordVPN is the fastest VPN on the planet. It costs only about as much as 1 cup of coffee every month to keep your data, your identity, and your devices secure. Because your location is masked, you'll be able to access streaming and other services that might be blocked where you live. Plus, you can continue to watch your favourite content when you travel. You might even be able to score some great deals on travel and accommodation that are not available at home. That happens all the time. Go to nordvpn.com/AEJC now, boost your security, and enjoy that discount plus those extra 4 months of free subscription time. It's totally risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/AEJC, link in the description, and thanks to Nord for sponsoring this episode. Cybertruck failure number 1, the price. When the Messiah announced the Cybertruck back before the pandemic in 2019, he said that it was going to be $40,000 US. The reality? $60,990 to $99,990 US. This is a fairly large price disparity, especially as we are talking about a self-identifying genius who, quote, knows more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth.
At this point, I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth.
Cybertruck failure number 2, the timing. This vehicle is 2 years late. There's really no getting around that. So, well done, manufacturing messiah. Cybertruck failure number 3. The vehicle is morbidly obese and disgracefully huge. Cybertruck is saving the planet. 3,104 kilos of energy-intensive materials at a time. And let's not forget it's easing congestion in our cities in a package that's just 5.7 metres long and 2.2 metres wide. For comparison, a Ford Ranger Wildtrak V6 itself, hardly that much of a planet saver, let's not forget, is 400 millimetres shorter and nearly 300 narrower and almost 700 kilos lighter. Cybertruck's existence is actually the exact opposite of environmental virtue. Kia's big electric shitter, the lardy-arsed EV9, is roughly 700 millimetres shorter than a Cybertruck and roughly 500 kilos lighter. Cybertruck failure number 4. The cargo bay, in my estimation, is a fucking joke. Here is a beautiful shot of it failing to hold a mountain bike. So that's quite practical. Cybertruck failure number 5, the battery is ridiculous. The official battery details are not yet forthcoming, it seems, but informed speculation seems to be hovering in the 200 to 250 kilowatt hour ballpark, which is totally outrageous in terms of the drain on the planet's resources. Plus, if you've got a single-phase 230-volt wall box charger at home, it's going to take you roughly 36 hours to charge a flat Cybertruck. How frickin' practical. And if you'd like to charge it off rooftop solar at home in a day, you'd need a roughly 70 kilowatt array. Most homes in Australia, 6.6. Cybertruck failure number 6 now. It's bulletproof. And they did show plenty of pictures of it stopping bullets, which is so useful if you're a crime kingpin or a head of state. How long is it going to be, I wonder, until some Darwin Award winner on YouTube, TikTok or Instagram contrives a video of them driving and getting shot at by friends, colleagues or associates? This could easily prove every bit as entertaining as all of those people who checked out early after interpreting the term autopilot, literally. Could it not? Furthermore, the vehicle could prove something of a bullet magnet in some of the less salubrious areas of, for example, LA, such as Compton, Watts, Westmont, Chesterfield Square, Harvard Park. Dude, we could be here all day. There's a lot of guns in America. I don't think we'll have to wait until Christmas for broad entertainment of this nature. Cybertruck failure number 7, this one for investors. Dude, it's just not going to make Tesla a profit. Cybertruck is a financial millstone around Tesla's neck. It's great for likes and thumbs up on socials, I suppose, but it's a fiscal black hole and it's not going to make Tesla gain any sort of mass market ground out there, is it? Like, it's just not that vehicle. And the rest of Tesla's inventory is, frankly, as old as the hills right now. So this is 4 wasted years in the domain of opportunity cost, which could have been devoted to sexing up, I don't know, the Model 3. Cybertruck failure number 8 now. It being available is basically a lie. The delivery event that was so widely broadcast and such a mediagasm was actually like just a handover to 12 hand-picked customers. Okay, so that's a PR stunt, not a product rollout. That's not like available now, good to go. Everything else about this vehicle, the promises for production next year and the 250,000 maybe deliveries in 2025, it's just more empty Musk sound bites. And frankly, how many more of those do there have to be before the public catches on more broadly to the disparity between what is promised and what actually happens out there in reality later? 250,000 in 2025. Don't waste my time. The market hasn't been tested for a vehicle of this nature, so that's just up there with full autonomy, just 12 months away. Still, get back to me when it actually happens. Cybertruck failure number 9 concerns reputational damage. See, the problem with failing on fundamentals like the price and the range and things of this nature, which can be measured against what was promised, is the inevitable backlash from people who slapped down a deposit enthusiastically and expected the fantasy to come true faithfully. Reuters quoted a Model 3 owner and financial services executive named Christian Cook, who slapped down a deposit in 2019 when Jesus X spruiked the $40,000 price and the purported range. Mr. Cook told Reuters in the coverage of the launch event, quote, "The truck pricing and range is a huge letdown. My respect for Musk has taken a huge hit. My loyalty to Tesla has taken a huge hit." End quote. And I think that's more likely to be the prevailing sentiment out there in the public among all but the most rusted on electric Scientology cult members. Cybertruck failure number 10, the range, obviously. Musk promised 500 miles of range for $40,000 US in 2019. And these are both unequivocal things that can be measured. The actual range of the longest range Cybertruck is probably going to be something like 350 miles. Apparently there's a range extender, which is like a battery in a box accessory thing that you can option up at even greater cost. And even then, it's going to be slightly short of the initial range which was promised. So well done there, manufacturing Nobel Prize winner. What actually happened to all of that miraculous new battery tech that was prick-teased endlessly and purported over the past 4 years? What happened to that? Perhaps it's in the base on Mars. I don't know. See, this is the problem with promising things that don't and won't exist. Cybertruck failure number 11 now. It's just not cool. Like, look at it, dude. It's not cool. It's absurd. Ridiculous is probably a better word. If you're in a Cybertruck, you're going to look like even more of a small trouser TP overcompensator than some ambient rich douchebag in a Lamborghini. And that is saying something, because Lambos typically take the cake in that department, and it's a tiny little slice of cake, generally. Cybertruck is designed to hoodwink the consciousness of a particular kind of person. Which I suppose brings us to the very end of the video, failure number 12, which might actually be, at least on one level, a massive success. Cybertruck failure number 12, like, dude, this is a club that you don't actually want to join, but if you're in it, you might not have that much control over being in it. It's a susceptibility thing, mainly. Alexis Ohanian is in it, and he is pretty much a nobody outside of the tech space, but inside it, he's more or less a god. Pretty nerdy god, like many of them, but a god in that space, nonetheless. Mr. Ohanian is also one of those founding members of Club Cybertruck. He's a dude deemed deserving of one of the very first Cybertrucks by none other than His Holiness Jesus X. Imagine that. He's an IT wonk who's best known as the co-founder of Reddit. So I'd categorise him as being slightly more charismatic than Elon Musk, like slightly. B's endophallus, dude. So if the options were dinner with Musk or dinner with Ohanian, I'd probably dine in or perhaps starve. Mr. Ohanian got one of the very first Cybertrucks, and I think it's fair to say that he was cock-a-hoop about it. Here's what he's quoted as saying about that acquisition by Reuters. Quote, "This is the start of an epic journey. Lots of thumbs up. I feel very popular. I'm going to be the coolest dad dropping my daughter off at school. That's ultimately the goal." Here, Mr. Ohanian. This is exactly the target Cybertruck customer, I would argue. Someone who's wealthy enough for whom the acquisition is kind of totally trivial financially, and yet so freaking insecure that they need continuous public validation, seemingly. They need an appliance that makes them the, quote, coolest dad, right? Because without such an appliance, they wouldn't be, would they? Like, you couldn't just be intrinsically cool. How is that possible? They need other people to think they're the coolest. And, of course, you could only ever achieve this through possessions. Am I right? This, I would further argue, is the underlying genius of Elon Musk. In the modern world, obviously, substance no longer matters. So what you do is you take an established concept and you make it fundamentally crazy, like batshit, okay? Excrement on the walls crazy, that's important. But then you commit to a polar opposite perception of that product, that concept, whatever, and you limit its availability. Therefore, you make it exclusive, and you thus mine for people who need such a thing to validate their existence. And this is absolute genius. It's peak genius when you think about it. I suppose pickup trucks have really always been about carrying the tools. So Musk has reinvented this concept, and he has done so brilliantly, like it's Goldilocks for the modern world. Cybertruck is absolutely a failure against so many objective criteria, but it is a truly brilliant vehicle for conveying one particular kind of tool.